Hey everyone, thank you so much. Sorry I couldn't make it tonight. Some things just came up. So what I wanted to do today is just really to show off the last assignment. I know you guys are probably working on your video. I did say I would kind of go over iMovie as well, and that should be good. So I would definitely added some more detail into the packaging of assignment number 5. Nothing really has changed other than adding more description in there, and I think a better opportunity for you to have some additional information to kind of work off of, essentially. So same value, same due dates again. I know you're probably feeling the crunch, especially with the video project, so just try to get in by the end of the month. If you're not going to hit that deadline either, I'm working with the department to see what we can do for extensions, and we do have some options there as well. So don't get too overwhelmed. I know the end of the year for many of you is pretty hectic if you're in K-12 or post-secondary at this time as well. The tech tool suggestions, again, it really could be many things, but these are just some of what we had shown in the past, different ways in which we think it could actually be completed. You'll probably also get a different sense as to the different resources we provide for you as well. So again, the purpose is just to combine a variety of print, image, and multimedia elements to create a pre-packaged digital learning experience. And that's just kind of a very open-ended way of saying you're going to create another resource, explore multimedia in different varieties. I would say if you have the opportunity, you should explore something other than what you maybe have already created. And so essentially this assignment is to create a digital learning experience on a resource or topic of your choice that contains various forms of multimedia content. If you already have an idea that you've narrowed down, you can further explore that. And if you want to just clarify something with me, please feel free, and I will definitely get that to you. We put together some resources to different than what maybe the original classes had done in the past. They were very much just a virtual tour, which is cool, and I would say it's easy, and it might fit perfectly in line with what you're doing. Or if you just need to get this done, a virtual tour could be something that's easily accomplished. I know the virtual tour is one that I had actually done a virtual tour on campus, just my favorite spots, and kind of put together into a resource. Essentially, it should go beyond a typical presentation and offer a little bit more interactive experience with embedded content. So again, that doesn't necessarily fit into everybody's perfect mold, and as you can see with a lot of these, it wouldn't necessarily fit with theirs either. So I changed the assessment in a little way as well, just to make sure that everybody kind of finds a way for themselves, makes it relevant to whatever you're working on currently, or if it can apply to your teaching, even better. And then the assessment will, I think, better align. I have less specific requirements and more of a general for this last assignment before the final of the course. A few of the other types that we've created or linked as well here are the Hyperdoc lesson plans, Bitmoji classrooms, and virtual tours, interactive timeline, a choose your own venture style activity. So those are some of the cool ideas that I know people are exploring within their final projects. But also you could stick to a virtual tour where you can use an online tool with a variety of images you've taken and edited into a virtual presentation or a visual presentation. You can also, depending on your medium, choose other resources to embed, etc. And essentially not just a collection of pictures, but essentially a guide through an experience. And you'll definitely go through the stages of instructional design with that. You'll kind of build upon what you know about presentations, about visuals, about text, and it's kind of all starting to come together. Definitely have some virtual tour examples. The Wascana Park is really good. Allison Treble did a Kenderdine campus tour, in which most of you, I'm guessing, have probably maybe never even heard of the Kenderdine campus. It was a a satellite campus for the U of S, essentially at Emma Lake. Tons of cabins, and we used to actually teach some ETAD courses out there. Lots of other colleges took part in classes out there as well. It's since been shut down for over a decade now, but that one's really cool because you can kind of get a sense of that site. Ryan Banow did a St. Peter's College. Eastlands was really cool. It's not necessarily a tour of a place, but more of a process, and hers was on pattern drafting, so kind of that design and some of those skills, which are really cool. Jason's is interesting in that it's a virtual food guide or an exploration through the Canada Food Guide. There's some videos and then some resources available with that. So these, I would say, the Bitmoji Classroom, Choiceboard, Hyperdoc would be kind of, you may have seen them in kind of the pandemic response teaching. A few of these became quite popular. If I just click on one for you here. Very popular with early learning in that it's a very visual representation of what you could produce. Essentially, it's also kind of like a link farm in a sense that it puts all your resources in one place, and you can actually start the slideshow and you kind of get a whole different experience. I'm not sure if it's actually recording my screen there, so I'm just going to jump out of that. But you can click on different shapes and it takes, or different things, and it takes you to different elements. So this could just be an exploration of something you want to do if it fits within kind of an area that you want to explore, or perhaps it's just sticking to that traditional virtual tour, of which many of these are decent examples. I wouldn't say necessarily any of them like blow me away. Still very good. And that kind of brings us to the assessment for this one. Instead of trying to give you very specific criteria, because I know so many of us are going to different directions right now, that I felt it's just easiest to mark it on the university grading system. So this is right from the U of S. And this is kind of what I've been using, but we've been tying it to specific criteria. So instead of giving that specific criteria, I found that was kind of limiting some folks. I was getting a lot of questions saying like, hey, my project doesn't fit in this exact criteria. And so I found this is just a little bit easier. This is how you'll be assessed. I'll kind of look at your entire project and find which category it fits in, and determining an assessment from there and get you some feedback. Essentially, that's the assignment 5, packaging. Again, I'm just going to jump into the student view. So this is exactly how you'll see it. You would simply take a look at any of those links. I would suggest spending some time, go through all the links, see if there's anything that pops out at you. Maybe there's something that comes to mind in a virtual tour, or maybe you want to explore something else, kind of like a Choiceboard or Hyperdoc or Bitmoji Classroom, but maybe that's totally out of your wheelhouse or not even in the realm of what you want to explore. So there's lots of options there. It's essentially another multimedia assignment where you can build some new skills. And again, you're not limited to the tech tools that we've suggested, because there's also others, for example, like YouTube built in there as well. So then once you're ready to submit, you'd start the assignment. I've made sure to include not only text, but it could be a website URL, or you can upload and then submit. And that is all there is to it. I'm just going to leave that area. This recording, as well as all weekly recordings, will always be in the file section under the weekly recordings. Everything can be found there. Every one of our recordings is there. Okay, so that's the assignments. Fairly straightforward. I did want to show you specifically a few different courses in LinkedIn Learning. So depending on what you're doing, we actually have had a few submissions for the video project. I know there's a good chunk of you that were in my ETAD 476 video production course. So iMovie should probably be beyond, or like below your skill level and familiarity. So this might be kind of lost on you. But feel free to just to work. I don't care as much about the tool as I do with what you're able to produce. And it is quite a learning curve to jump into any video program. I was suggesting iMovie but it's specific to a Mac or Apple type devices. So either an iPhone, an iPad, or an Apple computer. So you might want to just do a quick search on iMovie and see what there is. I believe there were some resources about different tools as well in the last assignment. But one of the ones that I had shared was the Garrick Chow Essential Training. And again, I think one of the most powerful things you can do is go to the exercise files and download them. Being that it's 1.44 gigs, you might want to make sure you have a good internet connection or some hard drive space that's free to be able to do that. If you don't feel like you can commit the 2 hours to go through this, if this isn't one you're really wanting to learn, I might skim through to find out what I need. I think you could probably take a quick look at importing video, maybe a little bit of get started. I typically don't organize my clips. I can see how that could be very useful, but I typically don't do that. Editing clips, I think this is a very important section. It gets a little bit more advanced than even I would use it. I'm going to go through a quick demonstration here as well. But creating a new project, adding clips, very important. Trimming, actually learned something in this PD, but it was a way to refine your clips that I don't typically do, but it's really nice. And then some of these things, I guess they're kind of the nice to have, but not necessarily needed. So creating and adjusting clips. I wouldn't even worry about adjusting colors, using transitions sparingly. Adding titles is good. Adjusting speed of a clip if you really want to. Stabilize video if you find it's shaky. Green screen is cool. I do actually, if you download his resources, he does have a green screen clip, and that's always something that students love, and you can do this on both phone, iPad, and computer. And again, working with voiceover, there's an entire section on recording a voiceover, which was identified in the assignment. Something that you might want to consider. I think the best ones are always using a voiceover. In the last video, we talked about separating the audio and video, and I think, in my opinion, that makes the process a little easier. And then exporting, how to share. So you can kind of skip through that one. Also, there's tons of really good resources on YouTube for this as well. But I'm just going to go through a few things. You can see here I was just kind of playing around. What I might want to do is on my Mac, again, this will be very different than an iPad or an iPhone. So depending on what you have for device, this might not look at all what you want it to. So that's why this is kind of a very specific look into one program on a type of device. I typically don't like to do that. I typically would rather have taught you Davinci Resolve. But as mentioned before, Davinci Resolve is maybe a little bit more advanced, certainly more advanced than you need. I know one of the assignments that was submitted was actually done in Canva. You're able to add in your video clips, do some editing, and a voiceover within Canva, and I thought that was a really unique take, and I think it works well. So not something you need to be terribly concerned about if you know you'll never touch this again, but it's a good opportunity to explore what you might have access to. Sorry, Davinci Resolve is just opening up, and you'll kind of see the difference. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to go back into my projects, and I'm going to create a new project. Difference here right off the bat is between movie and trailer. Trailers are so fun for getting students into playing around. A lot of the grade 9 intro to ed tech classes I taught in different high schools, one of our first day projects would be something like this, where they would go in, and if you've ever seen these before, it essentially gives you a template, and I think this is like a Saul Bass template, if you know the famous director Saul Bass. And so essentially it will tell you, so let's say I want to do this one. I would click on it, it would load it up, and it would give you an outline that you would kind of fill in. It also gives you a storyboard and a shot list. So if you're reading the sections in the textbooks on pre-production, it'll talk a lot about shot lists, storyboards, and the importance of how they can actually help you. But what we had done with kind of some of our younger grades is kind of an intro assignment. If you chose one of these, you know you need one shot that kind of looks like the silhouette. So you need a person shot, kind of the mid shot from the thighs up, 4 action shots, 6 close-ups, mediums, and wides. And as you get those clips, you can drop them in, and then essentially it builds your movie into like a movie trailer. So they're really limited because you essentially just drop the clips in and it produces something that looks kind of cool. It's fun, but I wouldn't say like it's not relevant for this type of an assignment. So I would say maybe like it's fun to play with if you have kids or maybe just some time. I would say definitely play with it, but I wouldn't spend too much time, and I certainly don't think it'd be relevant for this type of an assignment. So when you click on create new, you definitely want to do video. Video is certainly a step up beyond trailers. Video is definitely the one that you'll want to, or at least it'll be able to give you the opportunity to do some editing. When you first open up the project, sorry, I kind of skipped a step here. It looks like this. So here's your media, here's your timeline, and here's your viewer. You might also see different libraries and things on the side tied to if you have some videos. It will always come up with like My Movie, so you can save that as something different as well. These are areas in which you can make adjustments, and you'll see that right away. There's different areas here as far as there's some AV, audio video, and if you click on them, here's some sound effects. Pinball machine. I had an old electromechanical pinball machine and sound just like that. All these are copyright free, so you can use them. The one thing that is tough is to know what's here. It's got tons, and I like to play through the genres. And so what I'd like to do sometimes is just get students playing in here. We might even just like, instead of making a video, make an audio assignment in here where you could just drag some audio into a timeline like that. You could do some editing. You can make it larger, smaller. You can move it around. You could stack audio on different things. You could do lots of things there. So I would just get students playing around with it, give them some ideas, and just say explore. By the end of an hour, you need to have a 1-minute clip to share to the class and whatnot. So just to get them to explore. Let's see what else they have here. Yeah, just all audio. Definitely you can click through here. If you had other programs, for example, I have Final Cut Pro, which is a higher end version of a video editor from Apple. It's in there as well. Foley is kind of one of my ultimate favorite kind of things to do with students. It's kind of fake sounds. Most of the movies you see on TV and on the big screen have fake sounds. The recorded sounds aren't actually done or in live. They're added in post. So something like bubbles or rescue helicopter. So this could be really cool in heightening the experience of your production. So you can preview it here. You can grab just little clips of it as well, and then just drag it into your timeline if you wanted to use it. Titles, kind of just as they seem. If you hover over it, you can kind of get a preview on the right hand side of what you want to use that for. I'm just going to close this for now, and I'll show you the difference between those after. I'll just bring it up so you can kind of get a sense as to how it is different. Excuse me. Definitely just go over, highlight some of these, see which one might be good. Let's say, I really love this one. You could simply drag it and then text title here. I could just type in, this is my film. Perfect. And then when I go to play it, it kind of shows, and then it should fade back out, just like the preview. And you can see here what I've done. A few things on my keyboard is I hit the space bar. That starts and stops it. And then you can kind of get a sense as to this is the timeline, so it's just playing. So we have a title there. Backgrounds are really nice too. It kind of something, if you don't want like a typical white background, I could have done something like this. And keep in mind, so right now you saw that I had that title there, and I put a pink gradient image over top, just like Photoshop or any of the image editors you may have explored. If it's on top, it sees it first, and so it's actually covering my title. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to copy that and delete it. I'm going to move this here and then see if I can paste. Yeah, I can paste this on top. I can shorten this up, and if I move my playhead to the start here, you can see that my title, which was transparent, is over top of that background. You could also do things like, let's say you wanted to have a globe. Oh, I hope it's not crashing. There we go. So you can create the world map. If I dragged the world map here, you can double click it and it could actually allow you to choose the different destinations. So Saskatoon, boom, and there we go. So kind of cool. If you want to show different areas, I can change that to, and it might, depending on how fast your computer is, it might take a little bit of time to render that. I'm going to also go zoom in and go back to the beginning and just clip. So that's really cool for being able to show some visuals. There you go. So you can already see, without doing too much, we're already building a few things, and all we're doing is grabbing them and throwing them in a timeline. Transitions are little things in between clips. Use them sparingly. You could very much never touch that, and your production would probably be better for it. When students find them, they typically overuse them. They're not super great, so I would say try to avoid them. First thing you want to do, obviously, when you're starting a project, is to actually get some content in there that you've shot, because there's only so much that you can do within the project without content. So you would click on that down button, and in the Garrick Chow video, he has 2 folders for you. If you click on the AT videos, you'll be able to see all of his videos in here. And I'll just show you really quickly kind of how to put together a project. This isn't following exactly how he has it laid out, but just kind of a very rudimentary way of showing you. So I might start off with maybe some sort of a gray. I don't like to put just text. I like to have something. And again, I can preview it. It's just gray. It's not really doing anything. I'll go up to titles. I want to add a title. Yeah, that's really cool. I like that. And so you can see here my title runs past this. If I wanted it to be a little shorter, I can just drag. And you can see there, it'll tell you exactly how long it'll run. Typically, I would start something like this. I would have, it would kind of start off black, and then some title would fade in, my title would fade out, and then it would go into whatever production. So to change that title, I would double click on it, click it, say Mark Cope assignment number 4. Perfect. And I can move my playhead here, hit spacebar. Cool, love it. There we go. Go back to my media, and I'll show you a couple different things. So whenever you click on a clip, remember you're going to have to get the clips from somewhere. So typically if you're on this type of a device, you would maybe have either, like, let's say a GoPro, a camera, a phone, an iPad. You can airdrop those to your Mac, or you can actually be using one of those devices, iPhone or iPad, to edit, in which case you're probably familiar with how to get your videos from the camera roll. On mine, it would be like you'd click on photos and it would pop up, but I'm on my computer. So let's say I want to use this this clip. When I click on it, it tells me it's 15.7 seconds. I can hover over it or scrub, and it will kind of give me a preview. So I have a couple things I can do. If I want the whole clip, and I would say it's probably too long for one single clip, I can grab these little arrows on the right and left hand side, and I can adjust them to kind of where I want them. And let's say I just need a 5-second clip. Perfect. Okay, and within my 5-second clip, that looks good. So I'm just going to drag it down, and it's on my timeline, and I can preview it by hitting spacebar. But let's say, you know what, I screwed that up. Maybe I want to, what I've done here is I've just kind of moved the slider, which shows more of the timeline. I can always drag this back out to reveal the whole clip. So it's really friendly in that it allows you to edit. So maybe I made a mistake. I really wanted the start of that clip, or I want the clip to start right here, where it pops into frame. And there we go. So I'm just gonna move my timeline. Awesome. That's a great clip, great. And I want to move to my next clip. Perfect, right there. Again, 24 seconds. That might be a little long, but this could allow us to slow it down so I can view it. Okay, that's kind of cool. What I can do, if I click on the clip, it'll allow me to make some edits to it. So if you see here, maybe I want to slow it down or speed it up. That's the speed one. If you hover over it, it'll tell you what it can do. So I'm going to slow that right down, and you're going to see. Okay, you could do it 10%, 25%, 50%, or auto. There you go. I could apply the camera shake to it, stabilize shaky video. It's going to have to analyze it, and it might take a minute. Oh, there you go. Okay, so if I can keep watching over the whole thing, let's say I'm really happy with it. Okay, you can see there's some background audio that I don't love. So you can, in this one, you can hear it's kind of like wind. So I can drag the volume up or down. So in this case, I don't want that audio. So I'm just dragging it down. In this one, you can see here, if I hover over that blue, I could turn it up to 400%. Don't do that, you'll blow your eardrums. But I'm going to drag it down to 0%, and we're going to just listen to that again. Perfect. Okay, really good. Let's say we want to add a transition. Again, very sparingly because they're brutal. Many of them. They're overused. So for this one, I'm going to grab the page curl and see what that looks like. I'm just going to move this. Ooh, again, use that sparingly. I think that's tacky, personally. If I want to make that even more obvious, I can change the duration. All I've done is clicked on it, change the duration to 3 seconds, hit apply, and let's see what that one looks like. Oh, hideous. Beautiful. Okay, let's say I'm happy with that. Go back to my media. I do want to play with this green screen one because I think it's actually kind of cool. So any green screen clip can be brought in over top of a clip. Remember, green screen, if you've never seen the concept, anything shot on a blue or green screen can be easily edited out. Anything green obviously will be transparent, so you have to have something underneath it. When you bring in this clip that it recognizes automatically as a green screen, it gives you this button, which is a little bit of a blue, or sorry, it's just 2 squares, and then it gives you the option to go blue green screen. And you'll see there that it should automatically take it up. You can play with it a little bit. You can edit it. You can kind of adjust the softness and then see what it looks like. It's kind of gimmicky, but it's kind of cool. Kids love it, and not too bad. It's pretty advanced. Like, the software needed to do that back even 10 years ago. Like, you needed a really great machine. So it's kind of cool that this is sort of built in. Again, we can just keep bringing clips in by just dragging them. We could edit them down, and you can kind of see here visually what that does. And I'm just dragging the sides to make that shorter or longer. Again, I can go back into the transitions and I can add more if I really just want to hurt somebody that is watching it. There we go. So let's say this is perfect. Couldn't be better. I'm going to go out on a high note, and let's see if I can really make somebody. Ooh, curtain. Classic curtain. Okay. And another title. Scrolling credits. That's a good one. Okay, obviously the scrolling credits are much longer, so I need to extend this one. And you see I can extend it by just grabbing the end, double click on this, and start changing some names. Mark. Sorry. Okay, you kind of get the point. And I can preview it. Perfect. Obviously botched that a bit. But let's say it's perfect. Again, I can kind of scroll this down. You can see the extent of my editing. Let's say this is perfect. I'm great with it. I want to send it out to the world. You click on this little button, which is the share button. So I find export files the best because it allows you to change some things. You can change just video, delete. I always call things I want to get rid of delete. And I'm just going to copy that. This is the metadata, AV. Oh, sorry, I didn't do the voiceover. One last thing I want to do. Voiceover, should you choose to use it, I would go to the start. The help menu is actually really good too if you don't know where something is. Voice, so if I click on voiceover, oh, it's underneath that, and voiceover. You'll see here how you get this little record button. You should see some meters that it's actually picking up what you want it to pick up. Right now I'm actually screen recording using a piece of software, so it might not work. I can adjust some levels too if I want, but what it does is it gives you a countdown. Hey there, I'm doing my overview, my video. You can see, oh, here I am running. This is really awesome. Look, I'm going up a hill. Oh, watch this great transition. Perfect. Now we're in a cornfield. Look at this guy. What's he doing? So on and so forth. But you can see, hey there, there's my voiceover. And just like Audacity, you can visibly see it. You can do a fade in and fade out. I can move it around also if I wanted. I can extend it. I can grab those, and you can see there's a nice fade in. What it does is it gives you a countdown. Hey there, there we go. So you can hear how it started. It actually included that count. There we go. You can kind of visibly see. Hey there. So I just adjusted it to get rid of the countdown and the click where it started. I'm happy with that. That's perfect. Couldn't be better. Now I'm ready to export it to a file. Delete. Next. Delete. I like to always make sure I know where I'm saving it, so I'm saving mine to my desktop. It's at 1080 HD, so it's HD. What I don't love about some of the Apple products sometimes is it's going to run in the background, or you might be looking for a big bar that pops up saying, hey, it's exporting. In Apple's case, just right here. So wait till that's done. The better the computer, the faster this might run. I would definitely also suggest turning off anything else in the background. I have many things running, which is making this just chug. And we'll wait one quick second, and it should be good. There we are. So I'm not gonna go into that for you. You know what? I can grab it out of here. Desktop, delete 93 megs. I can preview it. Hey there, I'm doing my overview. There you go. So I'm happy with that, and that's when I would upload it to the YouTube, and I will show you that process again, just in case you had maybe missed it the last time. Once you're logged into any Gmail account, you have access to YouTube. You can hit the little button right there that I just hit, the plus, and it'll say, hey, select a file. You can either drag it and drop it, or you can select it just like me, which it went to my desktop. I grabbed the delete. Give it a better name than delete. I won't, because I must delete this. And playlist, I want it on a playlist. No, it's not made for kids. Next. It does a copyright check, which that stuff is probably all copyright, but it'd probably get past this check. Public, unlisted, or private. For most educators, I would say unlisted is good. That means anybody with the video link can view. So if you submit the link to me as an assignment, I can view it, but nobody can search for it. Or if I don't care, anybody on the internet can search for it based on your keywords. So for my purposes, I'm just going to hit unlisted. I'm going to click on this button, which copies the video link. Hit save. Perfect. It's going to take a little while. One thing that was really frustrating with me when I first started uploading videos is it always uploads in standard definition, so SD, and then after about a half an hour or so, it went to HD because YouTube servers are just processing it. So you might be able to view it, and I can test that link right now. It'll pop up. It might say this is rendering. Nope, it's good. So see how it's kind of crummy looking? Hey there, it's okay. Overview, but it's not great. And you can see if I go back here, this still says SD. It will go, if I check this in about half an hour, it'll go HD because I've exported it in 1080p, which is HD. So it should look much, much better. So that's how to upload it. Again, I'm going to show you just a quick look at Davinci Resolve so you can kind of see the difference. More than sufficient. iMovie would be more than sufficient for our purposes. But if you really wanted to go into something a little crazier, or you're into video production, Davinci Resolve is awesome. It's cross-platform, it's free, it's open, it's available on Mac and PC. Let's just grab an old project so you can maybe see some of the things I've done. So again, okay, there's lots of missing media here. Okay, you know, I'm not going to reconnect it, but you can kind of get a sense as to, sorry, it's going to say media offline, but it looks, what I want to show you is that it looks very similar. You have your media, you have your viewer, you have your timeline. With this, it just adds a little bit more complexity. So there's a media button that you can grab media from. There's a cut and edit button. So the editing is the one I typically use, and you can see here how it separates the audio and video tracks, whereas iMovie had them both kind of within the clip. This allows you to do some other things a little bit more advanced, way more advanced than you'd ever need. Never need to touch fusion, never need to touch color or fairlight, but when you're done, you would just click deliver. And then simply add it to a render queue and render it. So again, the only purpose why I wanted to show you this is that it is very similar in kind of what it can do. It's not too terribly tough, but you can kind of get a sense as to the scaffolding. So not meant to scare you with that one. Again, I think it is way overkill for what you need to do for this assignment. You can see here, I think I've exported a few of those projects, just test videos and stuff for class. But really, yeah, that's it. Like I said, there are many more projects. You don't necessarily need to use one of those. But if you don't have a Mac, you might be looking at what's available for a PC. And Davinci Resolve is a great tool because it is free. I think now is 17. So you might want to maybe, like, I don't know that I would commit 7 hours editing in a cut page. To be honest, with these, with the links of them, I might go and steal their resource files. Then I might just go to the old YouTube and find what I can find in Davinci Resolve 17 tutorial for beginners. This dude is awesome. I've used his stuff before. 32 minutes. He will teach you darn near everything and more than what you would need to do in the class. So that would probably be my guess. One thing I love about this dude and his videos is that he provides you with sample files. So I think this one is like he makes a cookie commercial. So might be something you want to take a look at. What I also find very helpful, if you're thinking about this from an instructional design point of view, he has added the timestamps, which automatically link after the stupid ad plays to all the different sections.
Timeline. We now have some media on the timeline. Let's shift our focus down to the
all about making edits.
Ripple edit, so it won't leave any gaps in
right
place.
to it. And he's making a cookie commercial. So that, again, more than enough as far as the strategies for multiple different video editors. I think that should get you going. Yeah, I think that should be all you need. Remember, I'm going to post this in here, this video file, as well as I will just send it in another announcement. Again, my apologies for tonight. We do have 2 more Zoom sessions, and those Zoom sessions, I'm just going to jump in so you can see. I think they should still be on the 2 Mondays. Yesterday, again, I apologize. It was my convocation, as well as I know there are some people in the class. So June 13th and the 20th, again, I can go over anything you need me to go over, but I don't think I have any specific topics left. So if you need me to go over anything, otherwise it'll just be me available for open office hours, unless there's something you need me to go over. So that is it from me. If you're curious about the tool I was using to record this, I was actually using Camtasia 2022. Super amazing software for making instructional aids. It does cost money, but it's well worth it if you create a lot of instructional videos. Again, this could actually do everything that you potentially could want to do. It's similar. You have a timeline, you have media. What I like about this is annotations, so you can add lots of things. I use these all the time to direct people to specific areas. Again, transitions sparingly should be used. Animations are really good. What I do a lot is I scale up and scale down if I want to zoom in and out of areas that I want for people to look at. Cursor effects, highlight, which I'm going to add to this video so that you can always see where my cursor is. Interactivity. This is kind of cool, but it's not really effective. But you could build some interactivity into them. There's even some visual effects that you could play with too. And again, the same thing. When you have your media in here, you can actually export it just like a file. So all video editors work somewhat similarly together. So I'm going to stop this recording and do a little bit of editing and get this back to you so you can work. Okay, thanks a lot.